Indeed.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of Chiefs Focus First and 10 Live. Burrowhead in my ass. What's
Travis
up?
Kelce, baby. Travis
Kelce with his
What's
famous
up,
quote.
guys? How you guys
Oh
doing?
my God!
How are you
She's
guys
going to
doing?
the Super Bowl, baby. She's
good,
clap it up, clap it up. Oh, how could you not be pumped right now? How could you not be pumped?
I don't
The
know what to
Kansas
say,
City
man.
Chiefs beat the Bengals, the team that had been their kryptonite over the past year and a half. You know, they were all the talk, all the receipts, all the sass that had been coming out of Cincinnati players, their coaches, their fans around the NFL, people that didn't believe in Patrick Mahomes for some god-awful reason. And Patrick Mahomes on a bum ankle with Sky Moore and a guy they picked up next to the taco stand at Arrowhead won. I almost said a no word. Won and beat the Bengals. And it's awesome. We're going to the Kelce Bowl. I started the hashtag. Let's go. It's awesome. I'm so excited. I don't know how anybody can go to bed right now.
You enjoy that cigar, JP?
What's that, brother?
You enjoy that cigar?
Oh, I'm loving this thing. I got it from Burrow's mom sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Burrow's mom sent me this.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but
you know.
I have a question for all those Bengals fans out there. Who they?
I don't know who they are.
Take that back to Cincinnati. We ain't here for that. Take that. Take your sleep paternity test from what the mayor said. All that sass, Eli Apple. Back to KC. You guys are done. It is the Chiefs now in the Super Bowl, and let's go.
Let's go, man. Hey, you know what? I will say this. Hey, the Bengals can go to the Super Bowl as long as they buy a ticket.
Yeah, they got to buy a ticket.
They do.
Mommy Burrow's got to buy a ticket. She bought this cigar. I'm so happy right now. I don't know what to do with myself, man. I mean, I was sitting down there. My chest was hurting. I was stressing out. I kept thinking, what is going on here? Something's not right. Something just doesn't seem right. We're losing everybody. And then our rookies, all of our rookies and third and fourth string guys stepped up and took it out. Took them out. And you know what? There was no overtime. There was no overtime.
We got him done. And I'll just say this. Credit to Chris Jones. Our stat guy Brandon put out a tweet. This man is Defensive Player of the Year. If he does not win this award and Mahomes is MVP, I don't know what to say. This man let's start with this. Mahomes put the team on his back. Last drive, put the team on his back. Got down, ran on a hobbled ankle, got the first down and plus 15 more. And then Chris Jones, the series before, got that sack. 2 sacks. I have to say, Sack Nation, this should be a sweep between Chris Jones and Mahomes. Wrap. It's a wrap.
That's right, Chiefs Out Live. I am smoking this cigar. I'm happy to be. I've been saving this thing since week 13, and it's now time to enjoy it. I can't light it in my house because my wife will shoot me in the head, but I'm all good. I don't like them anyway. They suck. But I had to do this. I am very excited. Look, let me tell you something. Mahomes is a god. To go out there and play the game that he played in that pain and run the ball and do the things that he did. I don't think anybody understands how good he actually is. And to play with the rookies and the backups and everybody dropping like flies.
And
now
we're
solidified. We are solidified. How many rookies did they have in the game? Oh, wait, none. They didn't have no rookies in. They played with everybody they played with last week. We didn't. Our players were out. They were out for a long time. Snead got hurt. Tony got hurt.
McCall
got hurt again.
A lot of people.
Everybody got hurt. But you know what? We stepped up. We won the game. We're in the Super Bowl playing the Philadelphia Eagles. The Kelce brothers, for the first time, get to go at it in the Super Bowl, which I think is great. And I'm so happy for Kelce's parents that get to actually watch this game and watch both their sons play in the game. That is phenomenal to be able to do this. I'm so excited for this team. My throat hurts. I scared my dogs. I think I scared my wife. I know the neighbors are pissed off at me, but that's okay. Let them be mad. They're all fans of other teams. I'm not. My flag's waving high. So we're good to go.
Dude, the firework. I can hear fireworks going. My neighbors are setting off fireworks. I can hear it loud and proud. Chiefs Kingdom. Everybody at Arrowhead showed up today. If you were cheering for the Chiefs, you made an impact on the game because you could hear that there were the pre-snap penalties. You could hear the crowd loud and proud of this team. And I'm so happy right now. This is amazing. And I think this just shows once again how great Mahomes is, how great this coaching staff is. Steve Spagnuolo put up a great defensive scheme for this team. They were tricking Burrow and this defensive line, and we'll get to our players of the game. Hell, we may have to extend it to more than one MVP.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
But
this is.
We may have we'll have a tiered system. That's what we'll have. But what a great game by everybody. I agree with you, JP. This was a team win because the team.
Great game by everybody.
Thanks, Scott.
I'm trying to say this thing, man.
This team, the rookies showed up, like you said. There were veterans that showed up. Frank Clark, Mike Dana, Chris Jones. The linebackers showed up. I mean, this truly was a team win on all sides. And when it came to the end of it, Mahomes put the team on the back, just like he always does. Yeah. And you know when you need a drive, that you can always count on Mahomes to go down and drive the ball.
Well, I'll say this. Look, man, our defense stepped up in such a big way. I mean, unbelievable what they did tonight. I don't care what anybody says. These guys stepped up and stepped up hard. I can't even talk about how good they were tonight. Look, man, there was a couple of plays, deep plays, that you can't expect them not to get. Okay, it is what it is. They're going to get those when you got a phenomenal wide receiver on the other side and a couple of rookies trying to guard him, and you're missing your best corner. You're going to expect that. But we came back and won that game. We did it the right way, and we won, and that's all that matters. The Bengals fans are going to say they got screwed because of the clock.
JP, I'm going to can I stop you real quick, JP?
Stop it.
I don't care about what they have to say. There are no excuses.
Heck,
you guys had a quote-unquote healthier team. You had to suppose a better quarterback, and you got a lot of bad calls. Your offensive line is terrible. They were holding most of the game. So I don't want to hear that. So they can take all their excuses in the who day. Did you guys see they were mocking the tomahawk shot going? They can take all that stuff. The mayor can take all that premium stuff back to Cincinnati.
That reminds me. I got to retweet all that stuff.
We cannot. We don't care because when it came down to the end of the day, the Chiefs were the more better team. Andy Reid figured out a great game plan. I know they faltered, and Spags did a very good job of holding this team to 20 points. Well, did it feel like a lot more? Yes, but they did a great job. And because of that, hats off to everybody. And there's no excuses in day. They could have won this game multiple times.
Hey,
and
look
I mean
who joined.
Multiple. Who is it?
Our man Biz. He's
Biz?
joining.
Okay.
Yeah, he's joining.
But that's all I want to say there. What do you want to say, Quinn? I mean, interrupt you.
Well, I just want to. Someone asked where the intentional grounding was. I assume you're talking about the last one. I mean, he ducked it right there, and the running back wasn't there. There was nobody there. He threw it to the feet of his offensive lineman. So I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about, where it gave him that.
Yeah, no one was close.
But then they picked up the first down anyways. So I don't want to hear anybody complaining about that because that didn't affect the outcome of the game, because they picked up the first down. But
who day?
Yeah, who they gonna watch the
playoffs
couch
from the who
crying at? Let's cry. Just like that hit out of bounds on Mahomes. He hurt himself by doing something stupid. So let him. I'm glad he did. Raider Nation.
Well, Raiders
hey man, you guys should be happy right now. You guys should be happy right now. Not for your team, but for your AFC West brother.
Yeah,
because hey, we're in the AFC, guys.
Exactly.
We're in the AFC West. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're representing the West. So at least be happy about that. I'm sorry your team's falling apart. I'm sorry that,
I don't know. If your car's falling apart, I mean, in order for it to fall apart, it has to be in one piece. So
that's true. And with Josh McDaniels there, I'm sorry, man, but you're never going to have a good team.
Okay.
But, hey, man, make the leap. Make the leap. Just be a Chiefs fan. So many others have. Anyway, we can move on to plays of the game.
There are so many.
Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson.
That Quinn Cook won.
And Cook. Because on that interception, what a play. I mean, it was like two guys out there that have been playing football their whole lives together. I mean, it was just it was just one of those things that somehow it ended up in the hands of Watson, and Watson has got a pair of hands on him, because to come up with 3 interceptions in 2 playoff games is so impressive. The one last week against the Jaguars, the 2 today, heads up play, great ball skills. I mean, just 2 amazing plays by Watson, and you prevented the Bengals from driving down the field and scoring. I mean, great plays by Watson. Really big momentum turning plays in the game, because you kept them from moving it. You gave the ball back to your offense, and even though the Chiefs didn't do anything with it, you were able to make sure you kept the field. You won the field position battle.
I don't care what anyone says. This team they came together today. And this is what I am more proud of than anything, is the fact that, look, man, we had 4 guys go down. 4. And 4 guys stepped up. And look, not to mention, Pacheco was injured in that game. He was limping. Trey Smith was limping, but they stayed in. They played. They played through it. Mahomes, again, played through it. Took some massive hits. That's all it took, was them to be pissed off. And they knew they were losing the battle in the trenches, and they got mad, and that's what it took. It took a nice little hit out of bounds for them to be stupid. And it cost them the game. Instead of going into overtime, it cost them the game. And I'm proud of that.
And I would like to just say, great play by Mahomes. He was great acting on that.
Hey, man, he got hit.
He did that basically.
Hey, dude, he got hit pretty hard, though. I mean, he was 3 feet into the white zone when he got hit.
He really sold it.
He did sell it. Hey, I tell you what, Tony sold that touchdown for me. I thought for sure, and I tweeted out, that's a touchdown. I saw that play, and I didn't see the back half where the ball touched the ground. I saw 2 of the replays, but not the third. And in my opinion, Tony sold that touchdown for the most part. Now, of course, when you challenge it, you're going to get that. But it is what it is. I don't care. We're going to the Super Bowl.
I got something funny to add real quick. Travis Kelce said on the interview, whatever they were having on the field, he was saying to the mayor, he said, "Know your role and shut your mouth." So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But
yeah, it's nice having a decent mayor.
I would say another play of the game, the one that really submits, I think, Chris Jones' legacy is that last sack.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he really showed up in a big way compared to what we've seen. I'm like, everybody was like, "Well, no playoff sacks, this hasn't done that," but what he did right there was phenomenal.
You know what else it did? It solidified that extension that's coming.
Oh, he deserves an extension.
Yeah,
he deserves one.
Man.
Reset said, I just got here. Well, party on, Reset. We're winning. We won. We're in the Super Bowl.
Chiefs going to
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Of rooks.
And, I mean, I don't know. There's so much to say about this game. I think we need to talk about MVS. MVS has caught a lot of flack.
What a guy.
Went for over 100 yards today. Did you realize that? He had 116 yards, including his touchdown and almost a 30-yard run, catch and run. So MVS showed up big. By the time the game was over, he was the most experienced wide receiver on the team playing out there. He had a ton of really great catches, beat one-on-one coverage, and that's what you have to do when you're put in that position, is you have to be able to beat one-on-one coverage. They challenged him and Mahomes, and he did. MVS moved the chains for us. I mean, I've given him some flack, and I still think deservingly so throughout the year. But, man, what a guy to step up and win. And I think the point you were making, JP, 100%. Guys went down, and because Kansas City is so good at building depth, building quality guys that are, quote-unquote, backups, they were able to step up and make plays, and that's what happened. And when guys were leaned on, they made the plays. And that's why the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to keep saying that, because the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl again in my lifetime for the third time.
I think they're going to get another ring. I think they're going to win. I think they have a better football team than the Eagles do. And I think they're going to win. They have more heart. I'm sorry, but they do. Jalen Hurts threw for 105 yards today. No injuries. Mahomes threw for 323 or 333 with a bad ankle. We're a better football team. Hey, man, look, Reset. I know that must suck. But you know what? You can air hug us, and we'll air hug you back, brother. because I know what that must be crappy. But hey, man, I'm the only one in my house besides my daughter that likes football, and she was screaming as loud as I was. So I'm happy as can be right now. I don't know what to even say. L'Jarius Sneed, somebody posted that he had an Achilles tear. From what I understand, that's not the case right now. Nobody has said that it was an Achilles. I don't know where they got it at. Some buffoon on Twitter put that out. But right now, it's not an Achilles tear. So or not L'Jarius Sneed, but Tony. It's not an Achilles tear.
It's just an ankle. It just looked he rolled his ankle.
Yeah, he just rolled his ankle a little
bit.
Yeah,
it looked like he tried to do one of those stops, and he slipped a little bit and rolled on his ankle.
That's all it was.
And with somebody like that who is so dependent on his ability to shift, a injured ankle is really going to affect his ability to play.
It just depends on how bad it was, and I think that's why they pulled him out, because he walked off the field pretty good. And I don't think he was in that much pain. I think more or less it's nowhere near. I don't think it's anywhere near the level of Mahomes' injury. If that gives you any.
And he's got 2 weeks to get better. So
yeah, he's got 2 weeks to get better, and so does Willie.
Our team can be healthy, and that's what they need.
Yeah, you give him 2 weeks, the team's going to be healthy. That's all that matters. And I don't know, man. This was probably the second most stressful day I've had in my life. I gotta say. I mean, it really was. This entire week was a roller coaster. Yesterday I was stressed out. I didn't know what to think about this game. I didn't know what to think about anything at this point. And today I felt a whole lot better about it, especially when I found out that Kelsey was not injured, and I put it out on Twitter that he wasn't injured. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And yeah, they made it a game time decision. Look, man. I mean, that's basically gamesmanship. That's playing the game. And
this New Heights podcast is going to be so good on Wednesday.
It's going to be lit.
It's going. If you don't know, the Kelsey brothers have a podcast called New Heights. If you haven't seen it, you got to at least listen to this.
I hate to tell you, everybody in the country,
obviously everybody's got to. It's the #1 sports podcast in the world. But God, it's going to be so good. These next two ones where the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. And
they're both going to the Super Bowl.
They're both going to the Super Bowl. Kelsey's are going to the Super Bowl.
I got to tell you something. I watched that game today, the Eagles game, and the one thing I will give, look, Kelsey is a great player. Jason's a great player, especially at 34, almost 35 years old. He's a great player. But when they do that quarterback sneak, he's like the ramrod of that quarterback sneak. He gets low. He pushed 4 guys by himself. He took 4
That
guys.
is true. That is true. He did do that.
I'm telling you, for somebody his age to be in the condition he's in to be able to do that was pretty phenomenal. Especially when your quarterback is throwing no yardage and really had no reason not to throw for yardage other than the fact that he went up against a good defense. I got to say, they pulled it out. I mean, it was all running touchdowns for the most part, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the Eagles and the other games here on Tuesday when we have our rest of where we talk about the rest of the NFL. Let's talk about some other players, some guys that might fly under the radar. Frank Clark, for example, had 1.5 sacks and was also constantly getting in the backfield.
Karlaftis.
I mean, Clark had a great game. Karlaftis also had a really good game. Both the linebacker, Willie Gay especially, had a great game blitzing. He was sent quite a bit today, and Willie Gay had a pretty good day getting into the backfield as well. Carlos Dunlap, I don't know if he got credited with any batted passes.
No, he didn't. But I will say that he was a force.
He got in there a couple times.
He got in there a few times. So
look, basically this whole defensive line. We were talking about all week about how this is an injured defensive line. You need to be able to make plays when you have the opportunities, and I think that everybody who played on that defensive line, from Sanders, Dana, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, I think everybody played an impact on this. And I'm very confident with saying that because this defensive line showed why they're one of the best, or if not the best, in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know who the jealous guy is in the chat, but it's kind of funny.
He said he looked like Baker Mayfield. Nah, Quentin, take it as a compliment. His team probably lost. That's what it is. It's all right. Move on.
They did. Yeah. How's that going?
Homeless Baker Mayfield.
You
hey,
like
man. Homeless Baker Mayfield, he used to live at in Cleveland, so you
Yeah,
know he used to live
he
in
did.
Progressive Stadium.
That's right. Moving on. I actually tweeted it out to Who Day because I wanted them to join to see what they had to say and what their excuses were why they lost the game. Was it the 5-6 sacks? I already did.
Bring him back.
That's probably who that guy is. It's probably, it could have been the 5 or 6 sacks, the knockdowns, the hurries. It is what it is. You guys lost to rookies and a hobbled quarterback. And that's how this story is going to go down. That's the best part of this. The story is going to go down as they took out 5 of our players, injured 2 more that stayed in the game, and a crippled quarterback took you guys down. What's that say? Burrow had my ass? That's right. Burrow had my ass.
Also, Who Day?
Who Day? I don't know who they are.
Who Day going to be sitting on the couch?
I don't know who they are. But they're
I will
sitting on the couch 2 weeks from now.
There's a lot to the corners. I don't know if we've given out individual shout outs. I know we talked about Watson and he played well. McDuffie had some pretty great plays. He had 2 pass defense, a tackle for loss. He was making a ton of solo tackles out in the open field. So there, McDuffie played well, and that's just another one of the rookies who came in here and made an impact on the field. I think you're right. Earlier, JP, you brought up the fact that Snead went out in this game pretty early. And, when the way this corner room was built it was built on the back of a ton of rookie corners. And for your most veteran guy in the room to go out on literally the first drive, and then your corners to step up, and honestly, this defensive back room didn't skip a beat. I don't think that there was a play really where it looked like the corners looked like rookies, and that just shows how great. That just shows how great Veach is, and the coaching staff is, and how good these players are. Because it was truly a great way for these corners to step up. We are talking about some of the better weapon trio in the NFL, and all these corners showed up.
Yeah. I am pretty proud of what this team accomplished today. My throat's a little sore, and I'm happy to say it is. And I don't know, man. I have to say, Williams did a great job. Cook did a great job. He actually got injured during this game as well, by the way.
Yeah. He had that pass deflection, though, at the end. Really saved.
He did.
Really helps.
He played through the injury. He played well. Look, man, this whole team played well. They did everything they could possibly do to win this game with no players and, well, I can't say no players, but a lot of guys that really probably weren't practicing this week. They were probably playing the role of Cincinnati this week. A lot of guys do that. And we also had, that, scrimmage game, if you want to call it, this week that helped a whole lot. So I think given the fact that Spags did what he did, stayed aggressive when he needed to be, which was very, very tactical on Spags' part, because he was aggressive when he needed to be. He allowed his front 4 to do their job. He didn't do so many corner blitzes that he normally does, which you can't really do against a team like that when your stars are out.
Especially, when Snead was out.
When Snead was out, you can't do that. It's been a ride, to say the least, today. This entire season was a ride. I'm going to give every rookie on our team, they deserve more credit than anybody else that's played the game this season. Because those guys gelled, they came together, and they learned how to not only finesse the game, but to read offenses, to watch the quarterback's eyes, to see where they're going to move. Everybody played out of their shoes, man. I mean, look, what did we get, 5 or 6 sacks on Burrow?
We had 5, right?
5,
4,
right?
Was it 4 or 5?
Thought it was 5. We had 4 in the first half and 2 more in the second half.
We had 5, if you want me to go through the list.
Go ahead. Yep, that's fine. Go ahead.
So Willie Gay had half a sack. Karlaftis had a sack. Frank Clark had 1.5, and Chris Jones had 2.
Okay. So they did take the 1 sack away that they got on him. The one that, I guess he threw it away, but regardless, it doesn't matter. that's 5 sacks. We haven't had 5 sacks on him.
On
in 3
top of
games
that, they
combined.
had 12 quarterback hits.
Woo! Okay. Now that's impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I mean, they were constantly getting into the backfield. If you notice, there was a lot of times where Burrow wasn't able to step up in the pocket, and that really hurts the ability to hit some of those deeper routes. And when
Yeah.
you're trying to scramble, you're entering that scramble drill, you can still get yards. Mahomes, we see Mahomes able to do that, and Burrow is able to do that. He's got that connection with the Jamar Chase to be able to get some of those scramble drill kind of yardage. But, when you're under pressure, it really limits what you can do. And to be able to hit the quarterback that much in one game really shows the way this defensive line played.
I hope Eli Apple's listening to this.
He's
He's probably crying to Steven Nelson on the phone right now.
He probably is.
He's probably crying in the car.
And this is why I'm going to say this. I will have to say, when a team, people who are, and you may have not saw this tweet, JP. I don't know if you saw. You might have been pacing, putting a dent in your floor, but
Yeah.
I really put out a tweet. People were complaining. I'm like, there's still a lot of game left. Yeah, it doesn't look good, and I'm right. I was right, and we were all right. There's a lot of game left at the end of the day. There's gonna be some issues, and sometimes where it does not look good. But it came down to who had the ball last, and as Quentin said, as long as we win, and there we go. That's all we needed.
Yep. I forgot this game was at home for a minute, and I tweeted out, "Get on the show, so you can win." Find out who won, and because we surpassed, the sack totals that I put out for the giveaway, but we also won the game. So I absolutely, I forgot that people were at Arrowhead, and they're not going to be able to join this show right now. But that's okay. I'll put it out. We'll find who wins, and I'm going to give. I am going to give something else away on this show. Whoever I put it out on Twitter. If they don't want to join, that's on them. But whoever joins, I'm going to randomly pick somebody on a 3-question, easy question thing, and I'm going to give another gift away because you know what? I'm happy. I don't give a crap. I will give it away.
She's going to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Hey, Quinn, can we run through those Believe It or Nots?
Yeah, we can run through the Believe It or Nots here. So I know one of them was Frank Clark getting a sack, so that happened. One of them was Chiefs winning the turnover battle, and obviously that happened. Other than that really weird, odd fumble that Patrick Mahomes had, the Chiefs had 2 interceptions, and so you win the turnover battle here. And I think the other one, if I can pull it up on my phone here.
It was scores.
Tony. Oh, this was Kadarius Toney has 75 yards from scrimmage, and because he went out early in the game, we didn't hit that one. But
I think
we were right on all the other ones. We were right on the other 2.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, by the way, Juju Smith was out as well with a knee injury.
Yeah, we literally lost everybody but MVS and
Sky Moore.
Kelsey.
We had MVS, Kelsey,
MVS and Sky Moore were the only wide receivers.
Yeah, only wide receivers in the game. For the most part. They did put Watson in a couple of times. They put Jody Fortson in. They put Kemp in.
He had a great catch on that last drive.
Who's that?
Great catch. Kemp.
Oh, yeah.
Mahomes was able to run around,
Kemp
found him real
catch.
quickly. And then Pacheco, we haven't talked about him and what he did, but we can get him in a little bit. But yeah, go ahead, Quentin.
That was those were the 3. The final score was 23-20, obviously Kansas City, and I don't want to pat myself on the back here, but I was the closest on the score. We all had at least the Chiefs heading into the 30s. Caleb had 36-34. JP had 31-17. I had 28-31. So I had a 3-point margin of victory. I just thought there was going to be more touchdowns scored. It is impressive that I don't know if you guys want to hit on this too, just how early in the game nobody was able to score touchdowns.
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think the defenses were just playing. The coordinators were playing chess, and I would say Spags won it for the most part with his creative blitz. I mean, we sacked Joe Burrow like 3 times in 3 straight plays or something crazy like that. Yeah. And I mean, they couldn't hear. I mean, it was just phenomenal to see what they were able to do.
Yeah, we caused a delay game because of Arrowhead and our great fans. I don't know what the decibel level was, but I guarantee we probably broke it. I hope they had the gauge out because that was the loudest. Even Tony Romo said that's the loudest he's ever heard it.
And he was here last year, and he's been here for a bunch of primetime games because he's on the CBS main crew.
Correct. And Nance said the same thing, that he doesn't remember as this ever being this loud. I think the fact that we backed them up in the end zone so many times really hurt Burrow's ability to call plays, because I mean you're basically 10 yards from a group of fans that want to make you deaf, and that's what they did. I think it was great. There's not a louder fan base in Kansas City or in the NFL. I don't think there's a louder fan base in any sport at this point. People can say what they want. I don't know what the Jags were thinking. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence got bumped in the head. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he was smoking the ganja. I don't know what he was talking about. But to say that, especially when you're talking about your home field when you're on offense, that really makes zero sense. But who cares? We are the loudest stadium. We got the best fans. We do have our 5%ers, but who cares? Everybody does. Most people have 20%ers. We got 5. So we did a great job today. Fan base did a great job. Everybody stuck it out. I know there was a lot of nerves coming around with this, and everybody was boiling over. Hell, I was a stressed out mess. My wife looked at me and she goes, "You don't look very good." And I didn't feel very good. I felt my pulse in my face.
Oh, man, you stressed a little too much.
Look, man, I'm sitting there and I feel my face going. I thought, what the hell is that? And I can hear it in my ears. And I got tinnitus from shooting, so I can't. All I hear is ringing all the time, and I can hear my heart going. And it gets faster and it gets faster. And then all of a sudden it slowed down a little bit, and I thought, okay, I'm doing better. And then Mahomes, look, man, I'm not going to fault him for what happened on that. That was a bad snap. The ball's like a piece of ice, and he's doing it on one foot. So things happen. He even threw a pass. Look, man, when you're putting that much pressure on a foot, that is your foot that you launch from a lot of times, especially when you roll to the right. And that affected him. So I'm not going to complain about a few bad passes from Mahomes today. The man threw for over 300 yards yet again this season, and yet again in a freaking playoff game, and yet again in an AFC championship game. We can't deny what he has done. Find me 5 quarterbacks in NFL history that have thrown that many yards, period, without being injured, in an AFC or NFC championship game. You're not going to find very many that do it once, much less 3 or 4 times or 5 times in their career, in a 5-year span, by the way. 5 years, people. 5 years. He has broken records that no one's come close to. Multiple records. I can't count the amount of records he's broken. Kelsey, what did he do today? Frank Clark, another record.
Hey, 4th down. 15 plus 87 equals 6. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, my. I mean, look, man. Those guys came out and they played to win. That's all I have to say about that part. But let's get into these MVPs really quick, because man, we can't just stick on one.
I don't think
anybody can.
Before we jump into that, I just want to say Frank Clark smoking a cigar in the locker room.
I love Frank. There we go.
So I just want to say that. Let's get into the MVPs.
I love Frank Clark.
Caleb, let's start with you. We can start with defense if you want to give out. Maybe how do we want to do this? Do we want to do a tiered list like this? I would give this to this. 1, 2, and 3. Do you want to just list it out and then?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, Caleb, you want to start defense and just give 1, 2, and 3?
Okay, yeah, I can do. So number 1 is my best, or my number 1 is my
Number 1 is this is the guy, and then 2 and 3.
Okay, number 1, I'm getting into Chris Jones. Nothing really said there. He just dominated, did everything he could do. Sack. Number 2 is going to be, I'm going to give it to Frank the Clark Shark on defense. Stepped out with intensity, was very, very helpful. Number 3, I'm going to give mine to Justin Watson. Watson. He had a great game. He was able to do a lot of different things, and because of that, it really helped the team as a whole.
Okay. I have to give one to Frank Clark. I have no choice. I have no choice but to give it to Frank Clark. Chris Jones. I think he played a lights-out game, period, end of story. He was in everybody's face. They tried to adjust to him, and they couldn't. They held him down for a quarter, and then he was back back there in the backfield, pushing people around. Chris Jones, you earned your extension today. Number 2, That's a tough one because honestly, I think Reed had a hell of a game. Reed had one hell of a game. Reed has stepped up since week 13. And every week look, right now he's playing better ball than Tyrann Mathieu played the entire time he was here. If you look at what he has done in the last 8 games, he's playing better ball than Tyrann Mathieu did the entire time he was here. So I'm going to give one to Justin Reed.
All right.
That's number 2. And man, it's really difficult because I'm kind of torn between anybody in the secondary that played and anybody that stepped in and played on defense. But I might have to give it to Karlaftis because he has grown week after week, and now he is solidified. He is not a rookie. None of these guys are rookies on this team. Put that in the bank. Nobody's a rookie. Those are my 3.
Yeah, I think all of those are great. I agree. Justin Reed does definitely deserve a shout out. I'm not going to give one to him, but he led the team in tackles today. He was flying around the football field and had a great day. I'm going to start off with giving one to Chris Jones. He got his 2 playoff sacks. He got his first playoff sack ever on the second drive at the very latest.
Yeah.
Okay. So he did that. He got the monkey off his back. And then he had the game-sealing sack that really helped Kansas City get the ball back. He sort of forced them into position to punt the ball. And, it was just a great play by Chris Jones. But if you were paying attention to Jones the entire game, he was getting pressure. And when he wasn't getting pressure, he was eating up 2 blockers. And that's his job. Yep. And it's a dirty job, and some people don't want to do it. But Chris Jones can do it, and he's damn good at it. So I'm going to give one of them to Chris Jones for all of the work that he did and a lot of the work that he does that never gets attributed to him because he's a damn good football player, and I hope he's on this team next year because I can't imagine him playing on this defense. I can't imagine this defense playing without Chris Jones because he's so dominant.
Right now, he is going to – I'm telling you right now, whoever's listening to this show, write it down, take a picture. I don't give – you know what? He's going to be on this team next year. That I do know.
I think my second one is going to be to Watson, a lot like Caleb here. You ended the game with 2 interceptions against one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I got to show you the love. He's had 3 interceptions over the past 2 games, 2 of them obviously coming against Burrow, like I brought up earlier. These are important interceptions of the game. Both of them were deep passes down the field, and you're able to get the ball and give it back to Mahomes. And even though the Chiefs didn't do anything with it, both of those punts, Tommy was able to pin the ball back and prevent them from – you're flipping the field on them. You're forcing them to drive the ball 90-plus yards to go score a touchdown, and they weren't able to do it. And I'm gonna give credit to Watson for that, and I think he deserves one of those MVPs. And I think my last one, I think I'm going to give it to Trent McDuffie. And that's because he was able to make a bunch of open field tackles. He was able to cover. He was put one-on-one a lot with Jamar Chase. And, when anytime you put anybody one-on-one with Chase, it's scary because he's a big wide receiver. I texted my friend and I said that the biggest flaw of the Kansas City Chiefs corners is that they're not 6'6", because they're not able to, go up and catch the ball or defend the ball when a ball gets high pointed on them. That's just the way corners are in the NFL, because if you're tall, guys put you at, when you're tall and in high school and college, they put you at wide receiver. That's the way it works. So for McDuffie to be able to play the way he did today, despite his physical limitations in terms that he's just not physically capable of stopping some of those passes, I think McDuffie deserves a shout out. And damn, was this a great corner room class in the draft.
Talk about it.
And damn, was McDuffie and the rest of this corner room really good today. But I really think you could pretty much give it to anybody on that defense, because in order to stop this Bengals offense, you had to have a freaking game.
Let's not leave out Brett Veach, because without Brett Veach, we wouldn't have these players. It's
True.
that simple. That man is look, man, we got 2 7th-rounders that play like first-rounders. Period, end of story. That's what we have. We have 2 7th-round players, rookies, on top of it, that are no longer rookies. I'm going to take that out of the equation. That are playing like seasoned vets and 1st and 2nd-round players. Simple as that. You can't say much more than that. You cannot say much more than that. Our rookies are outplaying veterans in this league.
Yeah. And that comes down to coaching and your ability to scout and bring guys in that have a skill set you can work with.
Yeah.
I mean,
what have we been saying for 5-7 years?
In Veach we trust.
In Veach we trust.
And also, if they fit within the system, they will be on this team. Veach does not go after big names if they can't fit within the system. The name doesn't mean anything to him if they don't fit. So everybody that flips out here, and I don't really want to talk about next season, but for everybody that flips out in the offseason because Veach isn't going after big name players, maybe you guys ought to relax now because he doesn't need to. We don't need to pay somebody stupid, ignorant money in the corner or safety position except one veteran because Veach will always bring him in. He solidified himself over the last 4 years. The first year, I'm not even going to take that into consideration. But the last 4 years, he has done nothing but be great. Okay. Offense, right?
Caleb, let's go to offense. Get your three guys.
So my number. So I'm going to go with my 3 guys. The first person I'm going to put obviously is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, literally going out there, hobbling on his ankle, doing what he had to do, drive down the field, and when it did not work out, he kept on pushing. Came back from a fumble. It worked out. My number 2 guy, I got to give it to MVS. MVS had a dominant day. People were complaining, saying, oh, he's not getting the deep ball from Mahomes to keep messing up. The connection was solid and it worked well tonight. And my last guy is Pacheco. He ran like a man possessed. Yeah. Really helped move the chains. Now, the running game was they struggled a little bit, but when he was in the field catching the ball, he did a phenomenal job. So I'm going Mahomes, I'm going MVS, and Pacheco. Those are my 3.
Okay. Yeah, JP, before you go, can I just talk about Pacheco for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to tell Russ something real quick.
Okay.
Russ, yes, I was talking about like a Von Miller, and I'm glad you skipped other shows to join us, brother. That shows loyalty. Go ahead.
Pacheco did a great job. I mean, he had 56 yards receiving. I'm sorry, 59 yards receiving and 26 yards rushing. And so while the rushing number is pretty low, the receiving game, look, there were a lot of times Mahomes was looking for the guy in the flat, and Pacheco was the guy there. He's really turned into a receiving threat in this offense, and I think that shows the improvement. We know that Pacheco is drastically improved over the year. And his run game and his pass game, he was not this good at catching the ball early in the year. In fact, there were a lot of questions about Pacheco being able to catch the ball. He didn't do it in college from Rutgers, and anytime that McKinnon would come in, you knew that it was going to be a passing down because he was either going to block or he was going to be the guy catching the ball. So for Pacheco to come in and catch the ball the way he did, getting the run after the catch, he didn't catch a single ball in front of the line of scrimmage. So great job by Pacheco. I love that call for giving him the MVP because it's a really good call, Caleb. And Pacheco didn't get a lot of yards from the ground, but he did make a huge impact in the passing game. And he had a couple of really good blocks too. So I just wanted to say that before you go, JP.
I agree. Hey, we got a new guy in here, Corey LeCamp. I didn't see her. Man, it scrolls through, so I don't see him very quickly. We appreciate you joining. I hope you're still here. If you have any comments, put them in the chat box. We will definitely reach out to you. Offense, man, look. You have to give it to Mahomes. There's no doubt. The guy threw for over 300 yards on a gimp leg with no wide receivers. I'm sorry, but that's really what it boils down to. I can't say no wide receivers, but a very limited amount of wide receivers. We were down to 3 total. 3 wide receivers. I'm going to give it up to Sky Moore. And this is why. Sky Moore didn't fumble a kickoff return. He caught what he needed to catch. He blocked very well when he was on the field. He was a great distraction during the game. He made his presence known. I'm going to give it to him. And last but not least, I have to give it to Travis Kelce. Because Travis has done something in 10 years, 9 playing, that no one else has been able to do. He is second in all-time playoff receptions to Jerry Rice, and he's a tight end. He needs about 700 yards to reach Jerry Rice. I think he has the time to do that with this group. I believe he's going to pass it in before he retires. I have to give it to the man. He went out. He had spasms all week. We told you guys prior that's what it was. We posted it on Twitter, and we also talked about it on the show. Everybody made a bigger deal about it than it was. Today, I will tell you, it was a little bit of a ruse. Andy wasn't able to play that very well with Mahomes, and I knew about it earlier, and I kind of alluded to it, but I wanted to keep my mouth shut until the game started. Kelsey was fine this morning. He felt a little tightness from all the treatment that he's been getting, but it wasn't anything other than that. That's smart on their part. But I have to give it to those three guys because, look, man, without them, we wouldn't have won this game. It's that simple.
Yeah.
We would not have won this game without him. And I love what this team's about. Man, I'm so excited right now.
I know.
I will say, before you go, Quentin, they're having a field day on Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I'm looking at it and it's pretty good.
Frank Clark saying take their bum ass back to Cincinnati.
Yep.
I mean, it's just perfect.
I love Frank, man.
Willie Gay smoking a cigar in the locker room. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Quinn. I mean, interrupt you, man. Go ahead.
Okay, so Patrick Mahomes throwing on one leg, 326 yards, a couple touchdowns, getting the yards when it needed to be done, running for a 3rd and long to get the first down. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's going to win regular season MVP, and hopefully in a couple weeks he becomes the first player to win regular season and Super Bowl MVP. So I'm giving mine to Patrick Mahomes for all of those reasons previously discussed. I'm also going to give mine to MVS, as like we have discussed earlier. 116 yards on 6 receptions. I mean, the guy was the biggest, big chunk yardage guy of the day. He hasn't been that all year. And for him to step up in an AFC championship game, that's why you bring in a guy like him, is to make big plays. You bring in a veteran guy who is supposed to be a speedy guy to make those big plays when it matters most, and he did that over and over again. Him and Mahomes have always seemed just a little bit off throughout the year. And it worked out today. So you couldn't hope for more production from MVS. And I want to give my, I'm just going to do it. I'm giving my third one to Kelsey. I know it's kind of a repeat, but Travis Kelsey is now tied with 15 touchdowns of all time. That ties Gronk for the postseason and makes him second all time. He beat Gronk's receiving yards for the playoffs. He's now behind Jerry Rice and Julian Edelman. Travis Kelsey is the best tight end of all time. There's no question about it. He is the best tight end. He will, in NFL history, I've got him over everybody. He's a first ballot
Hall of Famer.
I've got him. Yeah, I've got him over everybody that has played, everybody that's playing now. He's won the Nickelodeon MVP twice in a row, so good for him. I hope that's in his Canton speech. He has a certain connection with Mahomes that is going to be effective moving forward. This team needs to get healthy over the next 2 weeks, but Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, and those are the 3 players on the offense for today that I think that's why they won today.
I also want to give a shout out really quick. One thing, Kelsey, he has a special connection with Henny as well. He's
a great player. That's what happens.
Well, what I love about him is the fact that he works with everybody. He works with Bouchel. He works with Henny. He doesn't sit on the sidelines while the second and third team works out with those guys. He does it himself. Because if you don't do it and they have to step in, who's gonna? Who's gonna be that guy? You have to be that guy. It's that simple, man. I mean, Kelsey is the GOAT, best of all time when it comes to tight ends. I love Tony Gonzalez. I've known him since 1997. But I will tell you this, Kelsey's better.
Yeah. You want to hear this Mitch Holthus quote?
I definitely do. You
can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Send that to me. That is a great quote.
It is.
And I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect because that's what people have done, both in the sports media, fans of other teams, other players in the NFL, other coaches of the NFL. You can doubt us. You can disrespect us. You could not like us. But you are going to have to deal with this team every week of every of every single NFL season, of every single playoff game, because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Andy Reid is the best coach of the NFL. And this combo is going to bring together anything and everything to come at you. And that's why we've hosted 5 AFC championship games. It's why we've been to 3 Super Bowls in the past 5 years. There's no question about it.
No, none whatsoever. And I will say this to all you national media talking heads that ran your mouths for the entire week and thought the Chiefs had no chance of winning this game. Now, especially with Mahomes' bum leg, you had him counted out before he was injured. Then you really counted him out. What do you have to say now? What do you have to say now, Ryan Clark? What do you have to say now? Who else? I mean, there was multiple guys. 2 writers, Hasless for the NFL.com. What do you got to say? I read all of your guys' your predictions. None of them except for Nate Burleson and one other. I can't remember who it is right now. We're correct on NFL.com. Everybody else picked the Bengals not only to win, but to beat us. To beat us. And they didn't do that. And they didn't do it, and it wasn't just Mahomes. Look at how many players we lost during this game. And we won. So all you national media talking heads, you can suck it.
Yeah, there you go. Those are my 3 MVPs on the offensive side, and it's going to be a fun couple weeks coming up. Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, and that's what we've been talking about all year.
I'm going to the Pro Bowl, by the way. I have to go.
That's awesome.
It's here, so I am going to go. I'm going to try and get some interviews with some guys, but I mean, of course, it's not going to be any of our guys.
You won't get to talk to any Eagles or Chiefs.
But that's okay. That's all right. I may ask some questions, some other guys that are in the Pro Bowl that doubted us as well. So that's going to be a fun time. I will say that, and I will post every question that I can post.
Yeah, I've got one more thing that I want to say, and then I think I've given all of my points. Reset put a good point in the chat, in the comments here, and I want to talk about it. The offensive line did a really good job throughout the game. Orlando Brown played great. I didn't really see him get into a lot of trouble by himself. I know this Bengals defensive line doesn't have a ton of names on there, but they're a good coach defense, and they do some really interesting things on defense, and it causes problems. That's why they made it this far. And Orlando Brown is a guy that has improved over the year. I think he gets franchise tagged over the offseason again. There was some scary moments with Trey Smith, who got a little hobbled at the beginning of the game, so you're worried there. And he came through and continued to work. Mahomes got some pressure on him, especially late in the game when he wasn't as mobile. But offensive line played good enough to win this game. And, you hope that they can get healthier over the next couple of weeks because they've got another big challenge ahead of them. But, I think the offensive line does need a general shout out for their ability to, play well enough when your quarterback isn't able to do the normal crazy stuff that Mahomes is able to do and keep himself out of trouble.
And that's a great point, because when you see him do all those things, it just made the team better as a whole. And that's a great point, man. That's a really great point. And to add to that, it just shows us this team. Yeah, there's gonna be some ups and some downs, but when it really came to it, they worked together and they were able to figure everything out.
I'm sorry, I'm getting tweets messages left and right. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if anybody knows who Tom Harrington is. He is a national news reporter up in Canada for a couple of channels. He's been around for years. I've known him for a while. He may be joining us on the show here in a minute. He's a very big Chiefs fan.
Let's go, man.
Yeah. He's a huge Chiefs fan.
Well, we can give him a couple minutes.
I will. I want to. Reset said something that about giving Cincinnati credit. Look. I will give them credit to a degree simply because they did have us stressed out. But I wasn't so much stressed about them as I was our injuries. That's what had me more stressed out. Mahomes actually looked pretty good. I could tell he wasn't very mobile from the beginning of the game, but he did his job. And I think with the hits that he took, the chances that he took, he did a good job. I don't think Burrow could have played nearly as well with that injury. He couldn't play as well without the injury. I don't know what his yardage was, but Mahomes had him killed in the first quarter. Did you know what Burrow's total yardage was?
Yeah, he passed for 270 yards. It's crazy that Joe Burrow passed the ball. He was 26 of 41, and Mahomes was 29 of 43. So both of these teams were passing the ball a lot, and neither one could really establish the run. And the hobbled quarterback with the more injured weapons was able to come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah, the two best wide receivers they have. And do you guys remember me saying that they have two really good wide receivers? Then they have a couple of guys that are fill-in somewhat to a degree. They're good, but they're not like great. They're not elite. They're not. Tyler Boyd? I don't know. What's their tight end's name? Hubbard? Or no? What's the tight end's name?
Oh man, I forgot his name. I'm seeing it right
Hayden
now.
Hurst?
Yeah, Hurst, yes.
Yeah. He wasn't very relevant in this game. I think he had one, maybe, he had 3 catches.
He had
one
2 or
first
3
down.
catches,
Yeah,
and one was a
first
big
down.
one towards the end.
Yeah. So they had all of their starters in. We didn't. I don't know how much I have to express that, especially to, Cincinnati fans that are going to whine and cry that, the clock management thing and the clock mistakes. There was no mistakes. The ref was on the field. He ran out on the field and they ran the play anyway. He blew the whistle.
Yeah.
It's not
Jamar
anyone's fault
Chase,
that they couldn't hear it.
well, Jamar Chase is trying to make a fuss on Twitter. No, a guy was running on the field, and I understand it doesn't seem like it right. Oh, there's a fire near the stadium. But what we see ends up
Doesn't surprise
happening.
me.
There's a what?
There's
A fire near the stadium. It happened the
grass
last time we
fire.
went to the Super Bowl.
Grass
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is when it came down to it, the guy was on the field. Now, the fans were loud. They did their job. To see these quote unquote mistakes and people complaining about, it's just like you need to be quiet. Cancun on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. They're going home. They just need to deal with it and go to Cancun and just be. It is what it is.
I mean, go enjoy your time off and try to do it again next year. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, any time you're watching a professional sports game, you can try and justify the reasons why your team lost, and you can always blame it on somebody else or the refs or whatever reason you want. Look, Kansas City played better than Joe Burrow did and the Bengals did. I think you'd have to see the fact that Joe Burrow threw a couple of interceptions and the offensive line could not block. If you want to talk about the real reason why the Bengals lost this game, it was because of the defensive line was able to get so much pressure on Burrow. This was the one thing that was missing from all of the other games that we had played. It was the fact that we were getting pressure and we were actually hitting him and taking him down. That's what was missing. Yeah. In the last 3 games, we had seen the Chiefs were able to break through, but by the time that Kansas City had broken through, the ball was either gone or Burrow was able to slide out of the pocket and able to throw the ball down the field. That didn't happen this time. Kansas City was able to either bring him down, which they did 5 times, or they were able to get him. They were able to get a hit on him and mess with the timing of the ball, which we saw on a couple of those deep Jamar Chase routes where, a really well passed over the shoulder ball would have been a catch and for big yards. But because Carlos Dunlap was able to get around the edge and get pressure, you force him to throw the ball faster. You upset the timing of some of those routes. They just fall harmlessly as incomplete passes. So the offensive line on the Cincinnati Bengals failed them because the Kansas City Chiefs defense was better than the offense today.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, man, I just put out a tweet rubbing it in some faces. I got receipts. So I got a lot of receipts. I bookmarked a lot of things. So I had to do it because I saw some smart aleck remark. I will say that if we had to do this game all over again, I would actually keep what we have. Because look, I don't know if there's another way of winning a game than the way we won one today. the intentional grounding on Burrow when Jones got to him. He threw a baby fit. Zach Taylor threw a baby fit. And it was a legitimate call. There was nobody in the vicinity. He threw it at the feet of an offensive lineman. It is what it is. Take it with what it was. And I will say this, Burrow looked scared. The entire first half, he looked scared.
Oh, he looked confused because he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, he was scared. He didn't understand how we changed up our defense to be able to do what they did. And then, not only that, when he did score, I don't think he was still comfortable. Even with all the injuries that we had, he still didn't look comfortable. We put so much pressure on him that I think he just knew. And there was a look on his face in the second quarter when he was looking basically at the screen watching the game when he was sitting on the sidelines. He had a look on his face that you knew he was really nervous about this game. And he deserves that. He needed to be humbled. He's been arrogant all week. His fan base has been arrogant. His team has been arrogant. They've stolen chants from everybody. They stole the Saints chant. Then they tried to... Man, make up your own damn chant. I mean, I know you guys wore bags on your heads, 3 years ago. That's perfectly fine. But never, ever underestimate the power of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Because they will get you every time. No matter what, they're going to get you. Yeah, we're, 1-3 against those guys?
A win's a win.
But we won when it counted. You guys you didn't have a shot at a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl last year. You weren't good enough to be there. I'm being real. They were not good enough to be there. It's that simple. Sometimes the cards fall in your favor. But when you can grind out a win like we grinded out today, with what we had to deal with, the adversity we had to deal with, that's who deserves to go to the Super Bowl. That's who deserves to have that Lamar Hunt trophy at their house. There you go. That's all I got to say about that. I'm waiting for Tom to join in. I don't know if he has or hasn't.
The last thing I'm going to say is it's a great team win. We're able to see as a whole. It just shows us this team was able to band together, and because I just made it better for everyone as a whole. So, and just seeing how everything turned around, it's gonna be a great Super Bowl matchup. It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great couple weeks coming up, but it's gonna be a great time. And Kansas City fans, enjoy this. Enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, look, the only players with more postseason game-winning drives than Patrick Mahomes: Tom Brady, John Elway. Tom Brady played 23 years. John Elway played 17 years. Eli Manning, he doesn't have more postseason game-winning drives. Joe Montana, of course, he would. Terry Bradshaw, of course.
Anytime you're in the list with, those four guys,
yeah,
Bradshaw, Montana, Brady, Elway. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good.
Ben
pretty good crew to be involved in. So
yeah, I mean, when you're talking about guys like that, and Russell Wilson definitely does not have more postseason. It's impossible for him to have more postseason game-winning drives than Patrick Mahomes because he hasn't really seen the postseason but maybe, 4 times since 2012? So I don't know where that number came from, but Hard Rock put that out. I think they might want to take Russell Wilson off that because I don't think that's real. But if you really look at it, all the guys that played all played at least a minimum of 14 years. A minimum. Most of them are 17, 18, 22. Dan Marino played less time than everybody else on this, except for Russell Wilson. Everybody else on this list. So let's not remember that this is Patrick Mahomes' fifth year. It's incredible. People can say what they want about weapons. He didn't have them today. Really, to be honest with you, what has he had all year? I mean, he had a bunch of guys that were new to the system. I'm not saying they're bad, because they're not. But when you bring in new guys to this system, you have to wonder if it's going to work out or not. But that just it's a testament to what Andy Reid and Brett Veach know will work in this system. What Patrick Mahomes can do with wide receivers. How he can make everybody better. And that's what he did today. The defense saw him carrying this team on one leg, and they stepped up and they carried him. And look, man, it was a team effort all the way around. 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. 3. The Chiefs went 50 years without a Super Bowl. 50. 3 in 5 years. I'm happy. If we win 2 of those 3, I'm even more happy. And I think we will. I don't know what else we got. I really don't.
I think we pretty much covered everything.
I think that's it. Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, and we will talk about the other games the other game. We'll talk about that on Tuesday on our Tuesday show. Anything else that comes out, because I'm sure over the next 72 hours, or really 48 hours, bunch of stuff's going to come out, storylines, going to the Kelsey Bowl, the Andy Reid Bowl, everything that's going to come out. We're going to talk about that. We'll keep the same content coming towards you guys, same amount of content, and we're going to talk about Chiefs going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, Mahomes on Cincinnati Trash Talk. Hey, man, I mean, the mayor came after me.
That's true, yeah. Hey, he did eat his words.
He had to eat his words. He had to, but yeah, that's fair.
I love it. I love it.
Travis Kelce told the mayor, he said, quote, "I got some wise words for you, Cincinnati mayor. You know your role and shut your mouth, Judge Jabroni." And then the mayor responded with, "Yeah, deserve that. Congrats on KC on a hard-fought win, and good luck as Arizona. Proud of our fans and our Bengals for the energy." And I'm not going to say those other 2 words that the Bengals fans always say.
Yeah. Scott just asked about a giveaway. What do we want to give away? What do we want to give away right now?
Yeah, what you got in that? What do you got in your pile?
In my arsenal here?
Yeah, your arsenal. What you got? You got a football? Do you have a bobblehead?
I got a bobblehead. I got a couple bobbleheads. Anybody? I mean, that bobblehead is like, that's one of 115 made, but I'm going to give it away. So, you know what? I can't mail anything across by the time Reset gets it, it would be in pieces because of customs. So that really sucks for him. As much as I would love to send him something, I know how it works. And I don't know, maybe I can get our sponsor to ship it worldwide. If they can ship worldwide, I'm going to send Reset something because Scott's already won.
Now he's going for a 3-peat, it looks like.
Yeah. What do you say? Won't there... Oh, that's on the big giveaway, Scott. I got it. Well, I'll announce it on the show because I already picked somebody. Hold on one second. Let me go in here. I had it saved in my phone somewhere.
I will say this: Eli Apple's mom deleted her Twitter account.
Did she really?
Yep. Willie Gay and them were smoking cigars in the room.
Great.
Same thing with Townsend smoking a cigar. Everybody's tweeting. I'm smoking. All the Chiefs players are smoking. They're saying stuff like smoking on that Burrow pack, smoking on that. They're just doing everything.
I love it.
It's a great time to be a Chiefs fan, and I have to say tomorrow it's gonna be very interesting. Quinn, I know you'll be happy. Are you ready? Are you gonna wear your red tomorrow?
I'm wearing red for the next 2 weeks. I don't.
2
even
weeks
care.
straight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some extra laundry, but I'll figure it out.
Exactly. But hey, I have to. Yeah. It's
you guys go ahead and talk. I'm gonna find this winner.
No,
I'm trying
good.
to find where I saved it.
I mean, it's just I don't know. That's a legacy game for Mahomes to see what he was able to do.
It really was.
I know we probably said about 800 times, but
look, that was a
great
game. That was a defining moment for him.
Mm-hmm. Great teams know how to win.
Yeah, that was a defining moment for him. Period. What's so funny, Scott? Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to find it, man. I got notes in here, and I'm just trying to. I got millions of notes because of these shows and everything else, but I will find who I'm going to give this away to.
Oh wow, there's a lot of confetti on the field.
Oh yeah.
If I was a worker, I would grab a jar of that and just like, this is mine.
Just start shoveling it up in a bag, and then you can go, and I'm sure you can get some of that. You know.
Oh, for sure.
It's been a great year for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Apple's mom deleting Twitter. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Did Joe Burrow's mom delete?
No.
Oh, I figured she would have.
Frank Clark planted a flag on the field in the end zone.
Did someone get a video of that?
Yeah. The Chiefs
Can you
tweeted
send
it
that
out.
to me as well? I need that video.
Yeah, we got to save all that.
That is really good. Oh, my favorite was whenever Frank Clark did against the Tech Titans when he had the front flag plant. He did he just went like this and stuck. That was a great. I have that video saved. He got another one. That is awesome. Just see what he's able to do week in, week out. And I know, Quinn, you and I, when we saw him at camp, it was like this man's on a mission.
Hey, we did call it from earlier, talking about, he looked different, and I know that there's a lot of people that think that he's overpaid and all of that, but he's on the team, and this is what he was brought in for, was to make an impact late in the year, and that's exactly what he's done this year again. He was a big reason why the Chiefs won that first Super Bowl back in 2019. He was really impactful all throughout the Super Bowl run. And he's already made an impact on these first 2 games. And so if he's got one more game, man, to make that final impact. And now that Chris Jones is humming in the playoffs, he's got that monkey off his back. He doesn't have to think about that anymore. I know Chris Jones.
More than one game.
Chris Jones will never, he may never admit that. He never thought about not getting a sack in the playoffs. But, you got to think that that's the sort of thing that's itching at him, to be able to say that he's finally able to be productive with a sack in the playoffs. So this whole team's going. We're going to need everybody. The Eagles are a good football team. They've got a great run game, and you're going to need your defensive line to shut that down. Scott's been running over anybody and everybody.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. They have a good system there.
Yeah.
They've got 2 really good wide receivers. So, this is a good football team we're going to face up, and it's a really good offensive line. So we're going to need the entire defensive line to play great here in 2 weeks, and I'm just happy that we get to go to Arizona through the Bengals. I'm so happy about that. That makes it so much better.
Oh yeah, and I'm just kind of wondering if it's possible Mahomes wins the MVP and Chris Jones is the defensive player of the year. How awesome would that be?
It would be awesome. I doubt it happens, because I think the media narrative was to give it to one of the Bosas or Micah Parsons.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can after what we just saw.
Well, the Player of the Year award is a regular season award. So.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they save it until the week.
I know. I'm just saying. Look, I've been on the Chris Jones Defensive Player of the Year wagon all year. I know that that's something that I've been talking about for months at this point. So.
Thiz just said he thinks we got this Super Bowl. I think we do too. I think we're a better football team. I think we have more heart. I'm sorry, but after what I've seen today, we have more heart than anybody in the NFL. I don't know what happened to that note. I had it in here and I can't find it now. I'm getting a little frustrated. I had a note in here of who won.
You just want to tweet it later?
Yeah, I'm going to have to tweet it later, guys. Okay. I apologize.
It'll at least get out. That's fine.
Yeah, it will get out. I hope everybody got a chance at that triple threat bobble that came out. That thing's sick.
That was nice.
Is that not cool or what?
Yeah.
I mean,
I want one.
Oh, me too. I'm hoping they made us one. I asked them if they would. They don't. I mean, they make a limited edition or a limited amount of all these.
Hey, we still got our bobblehead coming out.
Yep. So we got one coming out for everybody, and as soon as that hits, it's going to be pretty awesome. I think everybody's going to love it, and the only place you're going to be able to buy it is from Chiefs Focus. So when that comes out, you guys are going to be extremely happy with what we have. There he is, Clark.
I think that's pretty much everything we've covered.
Yeah, you want to wrap this show up, JP?
Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. I apologize. I will have to find that note later. I've got 60 million of them in here. Apple's mom, he said. Scott, I will tweet it out who won, and I apologize. I couldn't find the note quick enough, and we got to end this show. But Reset, I'm going to try and send you something over, overseas. I just don't know what kind of condition it's going to be in when it gets there, but I will talk to our sponsors and see what we can do about shipping something overseas. That way you get, because you won today. You've been a loyal follower for a long time, and we appreciate you, bro. So I'm going to do everything I can to get you something shipped over there. Do me a favor and DM me your address and everything I need. That way we can try and get that shipped to you. With that being said, we appreciate everybody from joining. We are going to the Super Bowl.
She's going to Super Bowl, baby.
We're winning the Super Bowl. I'm predicting it now. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Have a
all
good
I'm
night,
saying.
everybody. I know you're not going to be able to go to sleep for another hour and a half because you're still pumped up. But have a good night, everybody. Have a good night, Chiefs Kingdom. We'll see you on Tuesday.
It's like
have a great night, guys.
It's a big game of crack. It's like it just I mean it's what it is. It's like it's like crack. You're always on it. I don't know, man. It's addictive. But anyway, peace out, everybody. We will talk to you guys again on Tuesday, and we appreciate you guys seriously. By the way, before I end this, make sure you keep following us through the Super Bowl and through the off season because we have a lot of updates coming that are going to change the way Chiefs Focus looks, what our abilities are, and what our rights are with the NFL and the Chiefs. So make sure you keep following and keep checking everything out with the website. Peace out, everybody.